Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is so there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze.
Texas, Texas is not 40.
To the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. All my memories got brown hair.
Get too much pressure on.
Stranger to water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Miss the taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eye. Country roads, take me home to a place where I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. I heard a voice in the morning, oh, she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away.
Oh, he's a cold
Driving down
side.
the road, I get a feeling that I should have been on yesterday.
Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road.
Country roads, take me home to the place.
It's locked. It's locked.
Bye,
We
cabin.
promise. You don't have to think about it all the way home.
Bye, cabin.
Bye, Kevin. Power's off. It's locked.
All right, guys.
$3.
One day,
Same tree.
same tree.
Oh my god, I'm so
Woo!
Holy shit. Get a shot of these.
2 farms this year. Number 1 is done.
Did you say bye, Kevin?
I did. I already did. Bye, cabin.
Bye, Kevin.
Bye, cabin. Bye, cabin.
Smoked it, buddy. Look at that. You destroyed it.
Joey takes
The shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers. You can't leave it.
And where'd it go? All right, welcome back to the Deer Shot Podcast. I'm not sure what episode this is going to be, but today is Halloween, and we are talking about West Virginia Deer Camp.
Yeah, the Gore Camp.
And we have Spanny, the 2 Chris Gores, Big Gore, Little Gore, Caleb, and myself here today.
We'll let you guys choose which one's big.
Yeah,
Gore.
guess
which
which
one's
one's
big
which.
Chris and which one's little Chris.
It should be old Chris and younger Chris.
What did you guys call Chris when he was younger?
Talk about that. Anyhow.
Okay, all right.
Moving forward.
Yeah, moving.
I feel like this would be a good story to start with.
There's no story really with it.
Yeah, we're kind of just shooting from the hip tonight, talking about the deer camp that kind of started all of our love for deer camps. They already had one, and we were invited down to it starting in 2015. I think was the first time. I think Matt went first in 2015 to do some summertime stuff. He didn't hunt, but he went down.
No, yeah, you went to do the cabin.
Yeah, he went down to the cabin first, so Matt was down there first, and then I tagged along, was drug along.
Pretty
for
much.
deer camp, and then
Yeah.
we just been doing that ever since. So
Yeah, the first time Matt went down, my dad was like, "Nah, you're not bringing him back, are you?"
well, he says that, I feel like he says that about everyone that comes down for the first time.
The
Actually-
funny part was we got down there and he's like sitting in the chair out front with his shirt off, just like I'm like,
That is a true
man, this is
story."
gonna be awesome. Went down to stay in the cabin and they already had it pretty much done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other than the high spots because everybody's scared of heights.
So if you watch any of our videos from the YouTube channel, undoubtedly you have seen some from the deer camp down there because it's like 6 of our top 10. And
Yeah, they are
4
our
of
most famous videos.
Our top 4, like it's pretty much our most watched videos are all, for the most part, from down there at the Gore camp. And that was kind of unplanned. I mean, we just kind of started rolling cameras down there. It was really awkward at first. I remember, like, taking cameras down there and like being the only guy filming, and it was like weird and no one knew how to act, but that quickly went away. And now it's weird without cameras.
Right.
Like if there wasn't cameras, it would feel weird now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uncle Darren still makes it weird with the camera in his face because he just stares right into it.
What do I do?
What do I do with my hands?
And then he smiles.
Yeah, just like a blank stare. But we love Uncle Darren. He was not here. He's not here tonight. He was unavailable.
Yep.
So you want to talk about deer camp over the years, how it's evolved with who's gone?
Yeah, who was the
hunting
original?
then?
You know, when you guys bought the place, 1990. Who was the original crew then?
Well, that'd be the older Chris.
Well, the first year, my dad, my uncle, and Scott went because I had knee surgery, so I couldn't go.
Oh, you missed the first year.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The only year.
They got $3 opening day
Really?
because they were running everywhere, and they went to buy more tags. And you can't buy tags after the season starts.
Yeah, you can buy, like, West Virginia's tags. Obviously, there's probably a lot of people listening that are from West Virginia, but for us Ohioans, like, West Virginia's tag system's way different. Like, here we get $1 regardless of how, and then West Virginia, it's kind of completely different.
Yeah, they can get a couple
Earn
bucks
you can
somehow.
earn a second one if you buy a doe tag, trier, and all this.
Well, and before that, it wasn't like that though. You could take $2,
But you had to
Either
buy
way.
your tags before rifle season started.
So you'd have $2 tags.
Right.
Right. Now you have to, if you want a second buck, you have to shoot the first buck, then shoot a doe, then you can take your second buck. But before it wasn't like that. You could just take $2 if you wanted.
So not to be, I guess. So now I'm thinking about it. So Darren was down there for the first year.
Not that I remember.
So there's nobody. So they're technically, not to be morbid, there's nobody alive that was there for the first year. I don't think anymore. Because Jack and your uncle,
The whole first generation's gone.
and Grandpa, and Scott. So yeah, no one from the first year of deer camp is actually still alive, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that
Right.
till just now. I didn't know you weren't at the first one.
No.
I always figured you were. Is it true that you missed Jess's birth because you were at deer camp?
Did not miss the birth. I called from a payphone.
So you listened to the birth over a paper?
No, I was back home before she was born.
How close was it?
But then had to leave
It
really
wasn't.
quick.
It was next couple days.
Okay. I thought I remember when I first went down there hearing a story that like you missed Jess's birth because you were down at deer camp.
That was Ohio season anyhow. So.
It's funny how those stories kind of evolve over time a little bit.
Yeah, and so it is kind of a dark zone down there. That where the cabin is, unless you're on top of the mountain, it's like one of the only places there's no phone service.
Nothing
that we go
there's
to.
Nothing. There's no internet. There's no phone. It is completely dark at the cabin. There is electricity, but there's no communication with the outside world whatsoever.
Which makes it really interesting for us.
Yeah,
And it's not
sure up
like
top.
I actually have it written down here to talk about with the cabin. It's not like you can just go walk outside and climb up the hill and get phone service. I mean, it's a climb to get to where you can actually get cell phone service. It's pretty up there. I think that the elevation change totals like 600 feet. I've looked at between 400 and 600 feet depending.
Which is pretty big for the eastern side of the United States.
Yeah, but the way the cabin's laid out, the cabin's at the bottom. It's all the way down at like 0 for that area. It's in the bottom. Along the road, and
So
all the hunting and everything's up from that.
How did your dad stumble upon this property? Like, what made him buy this property in West Virginia? Did he have roots to the area, or did he just find this one for sale? And
He found a realtor and started taking us around. He actually liked another piece that was split by a road on two sides, and we didn't like it. So the guy's like, well, we'll go over and check out this one. And when we pulled up in there, we got out of the truck, deer jumped up, ran up the side of the hill.
oh, so you're like, well,
That's like,
gotta
we'll
have
take
this.
it.
Yeah, there used to be. You guys, when you started, there wasn't actually a cabin there. You guys built a cabin. We determined. We actually were talking about it in the pre-meeting. You built a cabin in '95, we believe. So there was 5 years where you were toting campers down. And did you guys ever sleep in tents or anything down there?
No, always campers.
Campers. And there was there's 2 old homesteads on the property from actually there's 3, right? 3 or 2 or
Yeah,
3.
the witch's cabin.
I forgot. Yeah, the witch's
Yeah,
cabin.
the witch's cabin.
That thing's got to be from. I mean, that's an
1800 something.
1800s
Yeah,
cabin.
that's old for sure.
Like there's an old log style falling down.
Yeah, Daniel Boone lived in that.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, he stopped by there when he was doing his and making his rounds.
Well, we joke about that, but you never know the stories.
Yeah, I guess you never know. I'm surprised we've never found a bear denning in that thing. I can't believe we haven't found a bear.
One of these days, we're going to walk by and there's going to be a bear looking at us.
Yeah, well, we had a camera on it.
Or somebody.
We didn't get anything.
No, there's one
going
nice
in and
buck.
out, did we?
We had one nice buck. Nothing ever like coming in and out, but we did have one nice buck like walk in front of it, but it was kind of foggy, so it kind of ruined the picture. But the picture was pretty cool. I could put it on there.
Yeah.
And we found some strange things around that cabin, which we presume were placed there by the neighbors or kids.
Yeah,
or
didn't we find the Blair Witch hanging?
Yeah, there's some like
little
Blair Witch shit going on.
sculptures and
there's,
stick
like,
figures.
Yeah, stick figures hanging from the trees we found in the past.
Yep.
But I mean, there's kids running around. Not a ton, but like,
Enough to do that.
It is in the middle of nowhere, but it's in the holler, so there's people living around.
Yeah.
There's
That's a great way to
people
explain it. It
living
is the
around.
middle of nowhere, but there's still like people.
And
There's
think
two.
that's-
There's two residents on the road that you guys have. There is two actual permanent residents, which isn't enough to get it paved or anything. So the road's in real bad shape.
Originally, when they first bought it, it was just Jake up there. So it was just one other residence.
There's just one house back there.
Yeah, just one house.
And
Then he ended up building it, right, for his sister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now there's two houses back there.
Yep. So, but speaking about those campers that they would take up there. So, like, one of my first years that I went down there, I actually stayed in the camper. And I remember listening to Tim McGraw, Indian Outlaw, like, all the time on cassette. Like,
What's a
tape.
cassette?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Yeah.
About my A-track.
But, yeah, like, literally, I'm pretty sure it was Uncle Scott's.
Probably Darren.
Or maybe Darren's.
Darren.
Yeah, one of my uncles had it down there, and yeah, I was listening, like over and over again.
It's like the only song you knew on the cassette.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and somehow, even with all the technology of Bluetooth radios and all this, we somehow still listen to this old
Yep.
boombox thing.
Not even
I don't even know
very
what it
small
is. Tiny
radio.
little clock radio thing.
Yep.
And that's what we listen
They play
to all
Country Roads by John Denver like every day on that channel.
Yeah.
We do get satellite, like Sirius satellite radio down in the bottom, and they always do like the Thanksgiving free week trial. So we always actually, like, everyone gets free satellite radio the week that we're down there usually. So we can actually listen to football games and like all that stuff just happens. We just get lucky with it because Sirius does their free week for Thanksgiving. And
Yeah, we kind of covered the history of the cabin. Now we can kind of talk about the deer camp and how the week progresses. We could probably talk about Kevin a little bit too.
yeah, we have guys that come down and hang out that don't even hunt.
Yeah.
They just love hanging. They just
So
love being,
shout out to Kevin. He comes down and works on the cabin all week, basically leading up to deer camp.
Yeah, he actually usually beats us down there, and then does some maintenance. And he brings a kid or two of his, and they join in for the weekend festivities. So we go down the weekend before. So season opens on a Monday in West Virginia. It's the Monday of Thanksgiving week. So we always go down like Thursday, Friday, or sometimes Saturday. So we have 2 or 3 day buffer while we're down there to get the camp like set up, and we check trail cameras, and we have like 2 days of games where
Cut wood.
cut firewood,
guns.
shoot guns, sight the guns in,
Drink beer.
drink beer, just a little bit, just
A little bit of beer.
Couple beers.
But cornhole, horseshoes, and dice. What's the dice game we play?
Left, right, center.
Left, right, center at night. 3 games where we may or may not make some bets from time to time. Everything's a little competitive down there. But
Yeah, we lose a couple dollars, gain a couple dollars.
yeah. Lose a couple dollars, gain a couple dollars. We always have a buck pool buy. It's $5, right?
Yep, $5.
Buck pool's $5. Yep.
Pick a card every
Lots
morning.
of tradition, like things like that.
Yeah, we do the card pick in the morning.
Yep, there's a deck of cards with deer on them, and every morning we pick. There has been a couple times where it's been right, but most of the time it's way wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean,
I'm pretty sure you didn't pick a 10.
no, I think I
That
picked
morning
like
you
a
shot
4
yours.
point. The year I shot my 10 point, I think I picked like a 4.
Yeah, I think I shot yours and you shot mine.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yep. Well, you got an 8 point that year, which sounds nice, but
Yeah.
it was the smallest 8 point I've ever seen.
Yeah, it sounds really nice,
It
but
sounds nice, but
didn't look
this
nice.
8 point was like
A
We
little
did shoot
basket
a couple
wrap.
8-pointers last year too.
Mm-hmm.
We both shot 8-pointers.
one of mine's on the wall back there. Matt shot a couple different 8 pointers down there.
He shot at a few as well.
He's technically killed. Well, I guess technically you've only killed the one 8 point. The one had split brows, so he was technically a 10, but he was an 8 point frame. Then you killed a nice 8 in 2018, which is on the wall right there. You missed a nice 8 in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
but then killed a 7. And then I guess that leads into what we're all after right now. I guess we could talk about the mountain monster a little bit.
Yeah, the mythical mountain monster.
If he's still alive. We know the last time we know he was alive was Monday of gun season opening day last year because Matt saw him as well.
Right at
and
like
took a shot.
7:30 in the
Did you
morning.
take 2 shots or 1?
I took one.
1 shot. The mountain monster is a deer that just doesn't fit for West Virginia where we're at. There are some good deer where we're at down there, but it's there's no crops, there's no food plots, anything like that. So all the deer down there, usually the racks are significantly smaller than we're used to here in Ohio. Except for every once in a while there just is an anomaly, and there's like a really big. We've had a couple different nice bucks over the years, but the mountain monster is by far the biggest of them all. I mean, he's probably.
He's like a mid
140s, low 150s, 10 point, and we've had him on camera 3 years in a row in the same couple spots. And
Yeah, he's
Matt saw him last
definitely
year.
a nice buck.
If he's alive this year, he'd be. I mean, that first year we got him on camera, he had to be, probably 4 or 5 years old already for down there, and that was 3 years ago. So he's an
got
old
a
deer.
Giant body on him, too.
Yeah, huge. A lot of the deer down there. Their bodies are just a little bit smaller because of
they're
what they're
mountain
eating
runners.
and they're mountain runners. Though I did notice there's some pretty good sized does, like Ohio-sized does.
That's because we don't
'cause they're
shoot them
old,
on our
right? 'Cause no
property.
one-
10-year-old doe.
yeah,
We
no one
don't
ever
shoot
shoots
them on our property. They used to when you guys would do some black
Muzzle
powder,
loader.
muzzle loader and everything like that.
You guys would do deer like black powder deer drives in the snow.
We do deer drives all day long. You
wish
get back to camp and your legs just cramp up.
I mean, I would love to do that now, but climbing those mountains it is rough.
Listen, I ain't running those mountains like I used to.
Those, I mean, you're down some weight though.
Yeah, well, still, I'm like maybe 1 to 2 up the mountain kind of guy, and then I go to my second spot.
I usually,
a mound.
if I go up in the morning, I usually stay all day. I don't come back down because I'm not doing it twice in a day.
No, not in a
Yeah,
day.
There's
me
no
either.
twice in a day.
I learned
there.
that lesson last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Matt went down and checked some cameras for us last week. Just checked on the cabin, checked some cameras, and put some new cameras up and stuff. And how many miles did you do?
It was like 6, and I think it was like 138 flights of stairs or something.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And my legs are still sore.
So you went
Touching
up
certain
all the way around and then back up?
I went up behind the cabin. I came back down to the mineral site, and then I went up the front where Isaac hunts, and then came back down to the road and then cut back up the gas line.
Oh, so
Up
you went
to
up
High
3
Point.
times.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't go all the way around the top?
It's kind of – so we went around the top. Was it turkey season this year, me and you?
I don't know. I always get lost up there.
I do too.
We
and that's
went
why I
around the
didn't do it.
top in the back, like on your side last year, and it gets kind of weird up there with the cow pasture and the thickness and like
Yeah.
it's really hard to –
Ever since they put that cow pasture up there, it's really weird. There's no way to get around unless you walk right through it, basically.
yeah.
Because the fence
They put
is
a
like
fence up all
on
the way
the
around.
hillside.
Yeah, the fences. like the fence is right on the edge of the
Well,
where it drops off to nowhere. So
we used
you're
to-
like
we used to
side
ride-
hilling.
We used to ride 4-wheelers all the way around back in the day. You know.
We used to ride 4-wheelers up past Jake's house, up that hill.
Yeah, I know where the
Yeah, up between the 2 houses.
the
up
trail
that
is
hill.
still there, sort
There's
of.
power lines going up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Isaac walked through last year.
But
I
it
found a
was-
morel up there last year.
It was like a drop off. So you ride this path up, and you get up there, but it's a drop off. And we were coming down that trail the one year, and were you behind me? Was I driving? You ripped my hoodie,
I was
my hood
passenger.
off. Yeah, he was passenger, and
Was that when you created the anxiety with your dad? He started getting scared after driving on the 4-wheelers with you?
no, I think he probably had that beforehand. But I don't know what I did, but he ended up, I went right, he went left, grabbed my hood, ripped it off my sweatshirt. One of those kind of deals.
I couldn't imagine. So there's a way we can get up top with 4-wheelers on the backside through the neighbor's lease that they allow us. But
Only during turkey season.
those trails, like I've walked on those trails that you guys used to ride quads on, sketchy.
Oh, yeah.
Like sketchy.
Yeah.
Real.
Well, the leaves are like this deep now, so they haven't been used in so many years.
So not to create any bad juju, but has there been any stories of bad things happening down there?
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah. Yeah. Her uncle.
When they stole his boots, what's he like
know if I
crashed?
know this
He
story.
crashed on the 4-wheeler.
And the EMS came and
Yep.
I never heard this story.
Yeah.
He was out. He decided to go riding
In the night.
after a few beverages.
Yeah.
And coming down, didn't make the turn into the driveway or road, whatever you want to call it. Flipped it, rolled it, and someone found him.
He was all drunk
It was,
up and the squad came and got him.
Neighbor
Yeah, they
across
came
the
and picked
street.
him up, and then they stole his boots and his wallet.
The neighbors did?
No,
I don't know if it was the neighbors or if it was the squad.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah,
Somebody.
They took everything.
really.
Yeah.
But it was that. It was at the White House across the street that called.
Yeah.
Did you guys just like hear sirens and stuff down there?
Yeah, we started eating dinner. We thought he'll be back sooner or later. And then we seen the lights down there and like, shit.
Shit, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tradition we didn't touch on. Thanksgiving dinner Sunday night before deer season.
Yeah.
So like Thanksgiving's not till Thursday, obviously, but we eat it on Sunday night down there.
Well, so back in the day before you guys started coming, we were there Saturday to Saturday, and we'd have Thanksgiving originally on Thanksgiving, and then we kind of started shortening the week to like Wednesday because everybody's work schedule and stuff like that, and so now Dad he'll cook on Sunday. He'll baste the turkey and slap it. And
Isaac he started allowing Isaac to put a little bit of seasoning on the turkey.
Because when we first started going down, it was a turkey in the oven. That's it. Just
What else do you do with the turkey?
salt and pepper.
Did you like
You're
it?
lucky you got
So,
to eat when you came down your first year.
We started seasoning the turkey.
I remember, like there was one year I started coming down. I don't think it was the first year. Maybe it was like the second year, but like usually we like nowadays with social media and texting and everything, like we can, figure out the meal plan pretty quickly. But there was a year we went down and no one brought snacks.
Yeah.
So there was literally like dinner. You ate like one time a day. There was no breakfast.
Yeah, that was a rough
There
year.
was like, I think there might have been sandwich stuff, which we were saving for up on the hill, like for hunting. So like we ate like dinner with there was no chips. There was no like donuts in the morning for breakfast. There was nothing.
Well, that's why us
started-
young ones took over the
Food,
the
yeah.
food, like the snacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we stop at
So-
Walmart on the way down there and buy 3 times as many snacks as we
But
need.
typically,
I'm sitting on a cooler of leftover snacks from like 5 deer camps, by the way.
yeah. Well, and typically, like how it was back in the day, it was like the wives would make like a meal, for the week. Like, hey, this is Monday shepherd's pie, Tuesday spaghetti, Wednesday, whatever it might be. Thursday was Thanksgiving. Like the wives would, make the meals, and then you guys started to come down. You didn't have any wives, so we didn't have any at the time, obviously.
You were like in between wives for
Yeah,
a little bit of
yeah,
time.
So I'm ordering out, which takes
No, in
10
between
hours.
the wife.
In between wife, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we took over snacks, obviously. So we have plenty of snacks.
Well, then we've started taking over cooking fully too. I think.
Yeah, I think Kevin brought down the pit boss.
Yeah, we have a smoker now, which we have a pellet smoker now.
Yeah.
So Matt always smokes a pork butt.
Yeah, pork butt's no matter so tradition is there's always pork butt. Like, usually, I think we've been doing that on Saturday nights or Monday after hunting. Right, Monday we let it smoke all day.
Yeah,
while
it's
we're
always
hunting,
when
usually.
we're hunting. I remember.
I'll start it in the morning and then come down at lunchtime, wrap it and everything, and then go back up. And by the time we get back, it's ready.
Yeah, lots of. We always do venison. I think that's what we do on Saturday. Bags of venison. So like the pepper jack smoked venison steaks and stuff.
Yeah, Saturday is
easy
more
stuff.
of
Mac
your
and cheese.
like our Saturday is our like game day. We're throwing
Pizza.
horseshoes, we're throwing cornhole. We'll throw on some stuff on the smoker there.
Kevin's
for
been making
lunch.
jerky every year now.
Yeah,
And
he
that's
brings
actually
down
been he's
jerky.
been making that jerky, which is we need to remind him to bring that down. Whatever he made last year, that sweet candy style,
Oh, that was delicious.
that was so good.
He
That
also
was
brings
so
brats
good.
every
Oh
year,
yeah,
too.
Kevin's brats.
Oh yeah, he's got the whole big Kahuna.
Yeah, the big kahuna.
Big Kahuna.
brats.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, he
his
brings the
brats are
brats
good.
as
From
well.
some local place on Oak Island where he lives, right?
Yeah, he lives down on not the Curse of Oak Island, but Oak Island, South Carolina,
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
It's right by South Carolina, though, right?
Yeah, right by our Myrtle Beach.
Yeah. So he brings a big Kahuna. He does. He makes jerky every year. Steve brought spaghetti last year. That was actually pretty good.
Is Steve coming this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you and Steve are gonna leave Saturday morning.
We haven't talked about it, but I'm sure we will.
Yeah, it's about.
I'm going to have Matt pick me up.
There you go.
He's got to drive right by her on
Have-
the way down.
Have Matt grab you.
Favorite
I guess we could do 3 of us could go Friday whenever, and then 3 could do Saturday.
Yeah, then whenever Darren comes out. Are we taking a side by side or anything?
I don't think we need to.
Really can't ride it anywhere.
Yeah, we don't need to.
I got you to drag mine out.
Yeah.
I'm quartering every deer out. I decided.
Well,
Cutting
I
it
mean,
up.
it's not so bad if you're dragging down. Like last year's buck, that sucked, but it was dragging downhill for the most part. Once you get to the edge of the hill and then the deer's in front of you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Until somebody steps on it.
the worst one was when
one time.
the worst one was when I shot my 10-point. I broke the antler because the bullet went in the ear and then
Oh, my
broke
10-point.
broke the antler. But I couldn't
I
drag
shot
it.
the
The one
biggest
antler
one,
I
yeah.
couldn't drag him by, and I couldn't have it hit on anything. So
Yeah,
it took
must
me
be horrible.
Took me forever to get
Yeah,
that thing down
that sounds
there.
Well,
And
you
you
shot
guys
him in
didn't
the
believe
ear.
I killed one either.
Well, no.
I showed up to Camp Bloody. I'm like, I got a deer.
Yeah, I thought you cut yourself.
Yeah, well,
There's a lot of prickers.
Yeah. Yeah. Right?
all you had to do is let that little buck go.
I mean, if you want to talk about, we can go into the old buck tree if you want. Then
Yeah, that's a heck of a story.
So Chris found a spot a couple years ago, 2019.
Yeah,
that
probably.
he liked. He had a spot that he always used to hunt, but he didn't like it, so he decided to find a new spot. He found this big tree, and it's at the top, and then there's an extra elevation change that goes up. So he's hunting like the first major shelf
Yeah,
away
kind
from the
of
top.
like a grassy area
Yeah,
out
it's-
in front to me to the left. Transitions over from like the neighbors over the top where it flattens out. And then
There's a really old logging road that's
Yeah.
like it's got a million trees down over it, so it's impassable. But it still creates this nice shelf through the woods. A lot of deer travel on.
so
So he
I-
sat it for the first time, shot a buck in the first
hour.
not even an hour. I would say.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
still
pretty
helping
sure-
your grandpa get to his spot.
Yeah.
He got to his spot, and I just sat down and I was doing my interview on camera. Oh, I just helped grandpa get out, and then boom, I could hear you shoot.
Yeah, I think it was around like 8 a.m. And yeah, little basket 8-point came in.
The rack's actually over there on the other side of the shop. Somewhere.
Yeah, it stays on the small side of the shop, I guess. I haven't made the big side of the shop yet, but we'll change that. So, yeah, about 8 something in the morning, made a nice shot on this basket 8 and started dragging it, and I end up walking by,
Yeah,
you.
where I'm at. I saw you coming.
Right.
Ah, there's Chris.
Yep, talking about it on one of the episodes. And I was like, hey, it's a great spot over there. You should go over there and try it out. And 2 hours later, you
Probably not even 2, for like an hour.
Yeah.
So I followed your drag mark, and I saw where you like gutted your deer, and I went and I'm like, oh, and I found where you were sitting around this tree because you had like the whole bottom was like cleared out, so there's no leaves.
Yeah.
All right. So I sat down, and I was only there for an hour when that 10-point, he crested the hill and was like, he was above the shelf actually, nose to the ground, like acting ruddy, not acting push, acting ruddy. And I couldn't get him on main camera because it was just like when you're gun hunting down there, it's hard to get the
it's
deer on
tough.
camera when they're 100 yards away through the trees and shoot. But I ended up shooting and hit him a little bit forward,
A touch.
touch in his ear and out his other ear.
Put him
And
down.
chipped his antler and
But to be fair, he had his head down and he was moving.
Oh,
so
he
I
was
guess
and
you
I-
only.
So I so my the only thing I could do was
so by a foot.
if you watch the video, I follow him, then I stop, and then I come back, and I was waiting in a gap. So I was no longer following the moving deer at the crosshairs.
oh, so
I
you
was
just
in
pulled
a,
the trigger.
Yeah,
I
you
was
gotta
in
shoot
a
the gaps.
I was in a gap as he was coming, and as soon as he entered the gap, I pulled the trigger, and
You were looking right at the antlers.
it hit him in the head.
Right.
How many points was that?
10.
Oh.
Yep.
I
10
still think
yeah, 10
I still
pointer.
think your buck is technically bigger.
his 9.
Yeah, I think that 9, if we scored him, would be bigger. That 9's got a bigger frame and
Yeah.
longer
What
beams.
what
and-
year did you take that 9, Dad?
I have no clue.
Oh,
We'll have a score off one
They all
day.
run together.
yeah. Yeah,
There's a really cool picture because you shot 2 bucks that year.
he's shot 2 bucks a lot of years.
There's a really cool picture of you looking young and spry, holding this big 9-point and another buck.
That's a
pretty
long
cool.
time ago. I can't get up there anymore.
It's a pretty cool picture.
Well, at one time, I think your spot was probably the farthest to get to. Yours might be now, Caleb.
Yeah.
Between you and Dad. Well, all three of us are up there on that back side.
I just
now.
go we kind of go up to the same area, and then I just go up.
Yep.
I keep going up a little bit more.
Yeah. But
And I actually look down. You guys looking up, I look down.
yeah.
Back in the day, behind you, that wasn't timbered. That was all wood, just big
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah. There is still a couple way on like right at the tippy top. There's an oak tree that's like it's so big around it'd take 3 of us to like put our I can't even get my arms even near around this thing. And there's a huge oak tree at the top, massive. But there's a lot of guys hunting on that backside now. Every time I go up there, I find like scent wicks hanging from the trees. And last year there was a ground blind on the other side. So like there is a lot of guys that go up there. They can get there with 4-wheelers.
Right.
Yeah,
that's one advantage.
they drive
have
around
on
all
us.
through there.
Well, they got tree stands back there with car hoods for the roof
Big
slide
big
above
blinds.
them.
That thing, it's like a pickup truck cap.
Yeah.
Like up in the tree. That's an interesting setup. That's kind of sketchy.
It's wild.
It's
Because it's like
Held up
30
with
feet up.
chains.
Yeah, it's real hot. But and the weird part is there's that feeder there and that mineral lick, and no one's refreshed them. So on the neighbor's property, there's this huge homemade ladder stand. I mean, but it's like 30 feet high. And then there's a huge. You could see where there was a mineral lick for many, many, many years because it's all dug out. But it hasn't been. We've never seen fresh minerals. It's full of leaves now when we go up there. It's not hit anymore. And there's a suspension feeder hanging from like trees so the bears don't get it. But it's underneath it. There's trees this big around. Like it's not been
I don't
used
think
in a
anyone's
long time.
really been up there.
Have you guys ever had the land logged?
No.
Was it logged any time before you bought it?
Not that I'm sure it was.
So a lot of that
time.
timber in there is really old. If it hasn't been logged for over
Jake
30
had
years.
his logged.
Yeah, not too long ago, right?
That's probably been 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a little bit now. Before you guys started coming, obviously.
Yeah.
Many years, probably.
Yeah.
So, because you hunted in a different spot than where you're at now, and that was Jack's old spot, wasn't it?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yep. And that was a really good spot. And then
still is.
It still is, but then they logged it, and it kind of
Yeah, you got a big wall of logs all the way around the ridge.
it kind of
now.
changed it up, and then get a lot of 4-wheelers over there every now and then that kind of come by. So
Yeah, they all like meet right up there at the top point.
I've seen 4-wheelers go through there, and not 5 minutes later, there's deer walking the same trail right behind them.
Yeah,
I
you know
mean,
the weird thing is
they don't
there's
really care.
like you don't. It's hard to explain, but like the way sound travels here, if I hear a 4-wheeler like 5 properties over here at the farm, like someone's on their 4-wheeler, but I know it's like far away. There, you don't hear them until they're like almost right on
Right
you
on
because
top
of the
of
way
you.
everything's shaped like this. If there's a 4-wheeler on the other side, you can't even hear it.
Right.
Plus, no one rips. I've
Right.
noticed that too. Like
They're all
around
just
here,
putting.
around here, people are just full throttle all the time, just ripping. Over there, literally everyone's driving 1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Probably got their gun across the
Well,
lap.
with that
I'm
too,
sure.
like you hear shots and you're like, "Oh, I know that where that was," and then you ask the person, "Like,
Oh,
was that
yeah.
you?" No,
I've
that
been-
wasn't me. That was over by you. Like,
Yeah,
there
how
ain't
many
no-
times
I've
do we
been
come back to camp and
convinced.
we're
I'm like, Matt, where's your
"Did
buck?
you
He's
shoot
like,
today?" Like,
that
no.
shot was 4 hollers past me. I'm like, no, dude, that was you. And you're like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
With the turkeys,
Yeah, we've had the ghost turkey down there.
yeah, we hear like a turkey. Like in the one year,
Still makes no
the one
sense.
year us three, we heard those turkeys gobbling. Like, oh, they got me right over the ridge. So like we went up to the top. And then we're looking down, and that turkey was a mile. That turkey was literally a mile away, way down in the bottom, up on the other side. But we could hear him gobbling. Like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, is that thing far away?
Well, and 2 years ago, you heard me and Chris calling at a turkey. It would gobble. Calling at a turkey. It would gobble.
I heard a turkey responding to your calls,
And we never
plain
heard
as
it.
We
day.
didn't hear it.
We never heard it.
No.
We were just calling, sitting up there bullshitting, calling. It was snowing.
In my video, I got the GoPro in my face. I'm like, they're gonna shoot any moment. Now. Like,
That's
finally.
when we walked through the cow pasture,
Yeah.
didn't we?
And then we didn't even hear a turkey.
No, we didn't hear a turkey.
I think Caleb was.
I
there.
heard.
I don't think there was a turkey.
My ears are never wrong. My eyes will be,
Yeah.
but my ears never lie. If I hear it, it's there.
Yeah.
And there was a turkey responding to your calling.
Well, he wasn't near
Maybe.
us
Maybe.
that we could tell.
But to go back to the buck tree, I know we kind of got off
Oh yeah,
topic
yeah.
of that.
Tangent.
So
That's what we
so
do.
2 bucks taken in the morning, obviously before noon. Caleb comes back down with his nice 10 point. And
How
then
big was it?
I think it was a 10. Yeah, I don't know.
shot it
You
one that
shot it
morning.
one that morning, and we watched, and you just missed it.
Went over.
Man,
by
the
a
video
little
was
bit.
almost
Whiffed it.
perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it
he
would
got
have
the
been
deer
great.
in frame and everything. That you see the bull go.
Yep, right over into that tree. And then all 3 of us, so myself, Matt, and Caleb, we go back up to my spot, and we're sitting there. I don't know.
We were only there like an hour.
Yeah,
maybe.
we were only there for about an hour, maybe 2.
We raced
And-
to the top.
What's that?
We raced to the top.
Yeah, we did race to the top, and we're all sitting at the same tree. And Matt is like furthest left. I'm in the middle. Caleb's to the right of me, and the What'd you get us? What was that?
22,250.
No,
was
not
like
your
a
gun.
4-point.
But it was no, it was a 6, wasn't it?
7.
Was
little
it the
6 or
7?
7.
Yeah,
Just a
6 or
little.
7. Either way, it came all the way far right, and obviously Matt was all the way to the left, and this thing just starts. It gives him an open shot, and
Wasn't he resting on your shoulder?
For everybody watching, this is how it
I was plugging my ears like this, and Matt
I
was
had my gun over top
resting
of his
on my arms.
And I was
Yes.
freehand filming with no tripod.
Oh, yeah,
Trying to
and-
keep it all together.
Caleb's, filming. I have my ears plugged. He's rested over my
I
elbows.
wasn't invited.
No, me either.
Yeah, no, they weren't invited.
The story's not over yet.
Yeah, and I mean, shoots this thing. It runs down to the next shelf, and kind of gives that little dead.
It went, he went stiff.
Yeah, it went stiff, kind
Stiff
of.
as a board.
Moving around a little bit. Falls over. I can't hear anything. Caleb can't hear anything, and we're, high-fiving each other, obviously, and giving the middle finger to Isaac over there, like, ha ha.
I had seen one deer at this point. It was a 4-inch spike that I wasn't going to shoot until they all shot their bucks, and then I shot them the next day.
If you listen real close to the intro of this podcast, it says 3 bucks, same tree.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's the
it's on
yes,
the. Yeah, it's
that's
on the.
the-
Yep.
it's in there.
that's the buck
That's
tree.
the story.
So that was
Big Chris also shot a deer that next morning too, because that was by far the longest track job I've ever
That's
been
the same
involved
morning
with.
he shot that
Yeah,
spike.
yeah. So the next morning after that, I shot the spike, and then Chris shot a bigger buck, I guess.
He said it was big. Yeah, that was the longest track job I've ever been involved with.
Yeah, had to get picked up by a pickup truck.
Oh, I don't like.
Random
It
person.
was so. I don't even know how. Like we always say 9 miles, which I don't think it was actually 9 miles, but it was like
far.
It was
it
far.
was far.
And it was a good blood trail.
And
the
we
whole way.
followed blood the entire way.
Yep.
Those people were cutting it up. in the
Yeah,
house.
we think maybe the neighbors picked it up. That's what we think.
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know. Let's say we crossed probably 2 properties, a road.
Yeah, so like we had blood up into that last pasture. It went up into that pasture, and there was blood in that.
Yeah, but-
we lost the blood in the open field.
Who went back? Did you go back?
Me and Darren.
Yeah, I
Oh,
went
you and
back,
Darren
and
and
I went back.
you.
And the neighbors were cutting up a deer randomly.
Right. But
Wasn't- it
you
wasn't
guys
very
found the
big
blood,
deer,
though,
though.
again, like up at another
Yeah, and
field,
it
right?
stopped in a field.
Yeah.
And it stopped where these other people were hunting, too.
Yeah. Before, like, when we were tracking it earlier, though, we stopped at that road.
Yeah, we went all the
And
way
then
up the
they
road.
picked
and
it back up again.
Another couple hundred yards.
Yeah.
Right.
We met like 5 people on the track. We ran into 5 different hunters.
I'll never forget. Like it's like looking back, like these are the things you remember. We were way up there next to this field in the middle of nowhere on this. It was a road just like your guys' camp road. We're sitting there talking to this guy who's like we ran into this guy and he like said he'd offered to like kind of yeah, I'll go with you guys and kind of show you.
Yeah, and he gave us permission to be on the property.
But we're
and stuff
sitting
like
there and out of nowhere on this like bumfuck like dirt road, a car is pulling up, like a Subaru car is like pulling up. Here, Chris, we're allowed to say. I don't know about that. We're allowed to say. This car pulls up out of nowhere, some chicken. It's just, hey, like hey, and she's like kept driving.
that. Yeah, it was like a Honda Pilot. or
Yeah,
something.
like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of literal nowhere. But then we never found the deer. But there was a neighbor that was like,
I think that was a 10-point.
it was not.
was-
The
I
one
think
that
it
was
was
being
11
an
point.
11
It might have been
point.
11.
You
It
probably would have won the
won the
money.
money.
the one that was being
real
butchered
11.
was very, very small. It was like a 4-point.
Nah, this one was bigger
Yeah,
than
it was like a
4-point.
basket.
Yeah, it was
It might have been a basket. It was standing sideways. It's hard to.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
I mean, he was
kinda hard
only
to
like
tell.
it was a 4-point. Like
No, this one was taller than that.
Yeah, tracking is rough in West Virginia. If you don't, put them down, you're going to be walking for a little while. I mean, even Matt's bow kill
which is an awesome track.
which
you watched it get ripped
was
to
one of the
shreds
best
by-
track stories we had.
You watched it get ripped to shreds by coyotes.
I did, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
behind me.
Well, why don't
Yeah.
we tell that story while we're on the subject of deer camp?
I guess it starts with me. I was way at the top.
Well, let's back up. We went down in early November.
Yeah,
to-
we wanted to just
bow
do like
hunt
a
for
3-day,
weekend.
2 or 3 day archery trip. We all went to our spots. I was at mine way up top, and it was the afternoon hunt, so like I don't know, probably like 4 o'clock. And I had a buck chase a doe, like Mach 1, directly underneath my stand. A buck that I would have shot. It was one we had on camera with split brows. Mach 1 underneath my stand. I got it on video, but I was not able to get him stopped whatsoever. And then he just kept following this doe and buried down over the hill. And then I heard like an hour later, maybe not even an hour later, half an hour later, I heard gunshots, and we were bow hunting. But the story was we had pistols with us, and if you needed assistance, you were supposed to shoot twice, I think.
I don't know.
But I just heard
I
don't know.
yeah,
I
can't
don't remember how
what
many
the-
shots there was because we have no way of communicating down there.
Right.
You shoot a buck with a bow, and you got to drag it.
Yeah, because normally we're shooting with our guns, so you can tell when someone else is shot.
Yeah.
But since we were bow hunting,
Yeah, I think it was one shot. I shot one and 2 shots. I don't know. Either way,
3 shots, you're in trouble.
all I know is
I
Matt.
don't know. I didn't know how many shots I need to take.
Yeah, Matt sat in my tree stand because I didn't want to walk all the way to the top, but then he hurt his leg.
No.
He was wounded, so I ended up having to go up
Yeah,
there.
Matt did have a torn. Matt ended up
Tore
going
my
all
calf muscle
Matt-
at your wedding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
on a beer run.
So he
Couldn't
beer
go
race.
up the hill.
yeah, that would have been my deer once again, giving up my spot.
Matt ended up going.
Sit on my
For
lap.
the record, Matt ended up going all the way up to the top, tracking that deer.
Well, yeah, we
You
ended
seemed to
up
move then, all right.
yeah, he ended up going all the way
It
to the
didn't
top.
move very great.
Yeah.
but so we went back to the cabin. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. I heard a gunshot. So someone obviously shot something. But so I went back to we all converged back down to the cabin, and Matt had the arrow in the cabin, and it was a complete pass through. A little bit farther back, but not a terrible
we had it on
shot.
video too, so we could tell.
A little bit farther back, but so we ate dinner, hung out.
Well, during that time,
Oh yeah, we're missing the most important
this
part.
deer, flies by Caleb, comes back down, rounds
Because I was at the tippy top.
Yeah,
Matt
tippy
was
top.
at the very bottom.
Right.
He was
Matt's-
actually negative below sea
Yeah,
level.
Matt's
He's below the
hunting
road.
the bottom and right down from the witch's cabin. So this deer, flies by Caleb, comes back down, passes the witch's cabin, crosses Matt's face. He shoots it, obviously, and it takes off back up the mountain. And so it literally comes up behind me, and I look behind me, and
Unaware of everything.
Yeah, unaware of that Matt even shot, anything like that. I see a buck standing at this flat behind me, good ways down.
Yeah, behind you, straight down.
Yeah, straight down. Yeah, I mean, nothing that you can shoot with a bow. So I see this buck standing there. I'm like, oh, man, that's a nice buck. And then it is just surrounded by coyotes.
Yeah.
Probably like 4 coyotes. And then it turns into this just thrashing coyote buck fight where he is, hitting him with the antlers, and here goes a coyote left, and then kicking it with another one. There goes a coyote
like
right.
I remember when you told him. I remember you were telling the story in the cabin on video, and Isaac goes, "What?
Yeah, like
Say that again?
nobody believed me
No.
that I watched
without a camera.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm the only
Yeah,
one
the-
that doesn't hunt with a camera. And I have this whole, fight going down. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what just happened? And I come back to the cabin, I tell them the story, and they're like, no way. That didn't happen. I'm like, I'm not kidding. And then
The only guy without a camera
Yeah,
has
then-
this amazing thing happen."
right. And Matt's like, yeah, I shot one and went up that way. I'm like, I bet you that was the deer that was getting attacked by
You had a coyote come
coyotes.
I had
through
like 2 coyotes come through not
after
too
you
long
shot.
after.
Yeah, and you had a coyote
Because he
actually
was
tracking
that
us
buck
way.
was on a hot doe.
Yeah.
So like I think obviously the coyotes were just following that scent, knowing like there's gonna be deer. Because the coyotes in there are ruthless,
Right.
and they followed the same path that the buck and the hot doe were on.
Sure did.
Obviously, they're leaving scent. Coyotes are following it, and then all of a sudden now there's blood added to the mix because Matt whacked him.
Yeah, a lot of blood.
So yeah, I mean we track him straight up. I remember the track job wasn't that tough. Like
It wasn't
there was good
horrible.
blood and like it
Right.
wasn't a hard walk up. But we kind of lost blood.
We kind of tracked him right to where you saw him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
We lost blood, and then we went over to where he's.
Yeah. So it was more like, all right, we got blood. We actually found the camera that we were missing because a bear took
that was
it.
weird.
Yeah, that's another.
Yeah, a bear
addition to the
took
story.
one
A
of our
bear-
cameras in his mouth, and actually Isaac found it. Like it was
It was
crazy.
yards away.
It was a couple 100 yards
Yeah.
away. Isaac stumbled in the middle of nowhere in this creek drainage.
Right.
Not a downstream drainage where this camera washed. Upstream.
Yep.
Up in the hill. Isaac just stumbles across our trail camera, and the last picture was a bear's ear.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then we're making our way up, the side of the mountain, pretty much towards my spot, and good blood kind of, trickles out. And I'm like, guys, I can take you right to it. Like, I know where this went down. Like, that's got to be the same buck. And we end up going that way, and we find this just,
Isaac's the one who spotted it.
well, not the deer itself, but the area where
Oh yeah.
they got in the fight. Like, I mean, there was
We did find
blood on
because we had
everywhere.
we
It
had
looked
lost
like
blood, and then we got
Like a massacre went
you
on.
said there was a bunch of blood. And then Isaac found it down from there. They ended up dragging it
Right.
down.
Well, we were going to give up. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll come back in the morning.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
then we're like, well, let's kind of go down below, and then we found him in that little ditch thing.
He was in a crevasse.
So it seemed like wherever they were fighting with him, and he just rolled down the hill. That's why we couldn't find any blood. And then he was crawling up this little crevice.
Well, they took some chunks out of
Yeah,
him.
and the coyotes were pretty much eating him.
They basically ate his ass
backhand.
out.
yeah, the back ham was eating up pretty good.
It's the same as when Freeman shot his buck last year. Like they go for the same spots, the backside, just tear them open.
Yeah,
But,
because the deer's probably still alive half the time they're doing it.
Great buck, though. I mean, that was...
Yeah. That's probably like
Second biggest buck since
I
we've
would
been
say
going down.
Yeah, since we've been going down, Matt's got bucks 2 and 3 for sure.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the first one was a 10-pointer.
Yeah, the first one's a 10-pointer. Did I mention I shot a 10-pointer?
Is that what it was? Oh, man. Maybe we should start breaking out some of those pictures from the old days, Dad. And
I have them on the
Show
computer.
some of them.
I'll put some pictures of the old days.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Chris's buck is still bigger inches wise.
Right.
Big Chris's buck scores more than mine, but it wasn't a 10.
But it wasn't a 10.
It was a 9. I think he broke his tine.
It's a
though,
9
right?
with a broken tine.
Yeah, with a broken tine.
You're going to have to shoot like a 12 or something this year.
Hey, Mount Monster might
bring
be a
it back.
12.
If the mountain monster's not alive, that shed buck is, and he might
be a
he
10.
might end up being a 10.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's one in velvet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one in velvet.
Yeah.
So I found a big set of sheds last year when we were turkey hunting. It was actually probably the most beautiful set of sheds I ever found because they were intertwined on top of each other
In the big
underneath
leaves.
some leaves. So they were from last year. Like we have the buck on camera, and he was the second biggest deer on the property last year. We found them like intertwined. The antlers were laying on top of each other with leaves over them. They're chewed up a little bit too already.
Well, and that's the thing. We don't usually find sheds.
No, last year was the
I
only
think
year.
they get eaten real quick.
Yeah,
down
the
there.
squirrels get to them pretty fast and, drag them off and chew them down.
the leaves are so
everything.
thick down
yeah,
there, too.
and it's hard. There's a lot of, property to cover and stuff like that.
And it's not like here where you can just follow the food source back to the beds and find sheds. Like
Right.
down there, both sheds I found one was on a spine, one was on a bench or a
Right.
shelf.
Yeah.
So they were on flat spots where deer lay.
Yeah.
And we know they lay. Just happened to be lucky on this one and found a
Right.
shed.
It's hard to
right by Isaac Stands where I found the big set.
Yeah, it's hard to shed hunt down there because it's all uphill. Unless you're at the top, and if you don't find any at the top, well, then you're walking the sides, and it's a lot of ground to cover, and it's.
I'm always
kinda
looking
tough.
when we're down there for turkey season. We found a couple morels, and now we found a couple sheds. So we are finding stuff down there, but
We haven't found a turkey yet.
no,
That's for sure.
turkey hunting down there. It is fun,
We
but
got close.
The
We got
first-
you, me, and Dad, we got close.
our first year. Our first year was awful. That was when the decoys fell down the hill. And
it rained
It was
like
rain.
a half an hour. in.
Half the time we've been down there, we've been screwed by weather. Not only torrential downpours, me and Big Chris got snow down
Past
the
2
way.
years has been snow.
I mean, snow, like
Yeah.
an inch of snow while we're turkey hunting.
Yep.
But if the weather cooperates, there has been some years where we've had some good. Like the first year that me and you like ran them out all morning long, it had like 3 different gobblers responding, and we almost got a shot twice. That was
we were set up, and that one came kind of around the corner, and then just took off down
he peeked his head around the corner, saw us, and boom. And then we were down. I think that was the same year where we called in the horses.
Yeah.
We called in the horses. We've called in some weird things turkey hunting together. Horses, turtles.
A lot of turtles.
Turtles. We've called in turtles multiple times.
Yeah.
If there's no acorns in there, there's no turkeys.
Yeah, and they're like we've had some years where it's been kind of a struggle, and we've had some years where there's a lot of gobblers, but we have not been able to call one in the range. Big Chris was like, I don't know, probably 30 yards from shooting.
Yeah,
one.
you had the safety clicked off.
I was
Yeah,
ready.
a couple years ago, one was coming down the hill, hot, and then he saw the 4-wheelers.
Yeah, pretty sure the 4-wheelers that.
He came down below the tree line, down this big face, and all of a sudden there was 2 4-wheelers at 100 yards, and we were like 50 yards, and he just turned around and went right back.
Well, we didn't expect the turkey to be right there.
No, but he came in quick. Every time we've almost killed a bird there, it's been because they're like right there.
Yep. Yeah. It's different. But that's what we got Southern Ohio for.
Yeah, the
Go
turkey
turkey
hunting
camp
might
now.
kind of go on the wayside down in West Virginia for a couple years now that you guys have a spot that's 2 hours closer and lots of birds.
And you'll have a nice sweet cabin down there.
Right.
Yeah, so we might not make it to West Virginia for turkey hunting. We might just have to start doing summertime.
Well, we are at about 50 minutes.
That was farther than I thought. I got a whole bunch of stuff here. But,
I know we didn't even talk about half the stuff
what
you
do you
wrote
wanna
down.
talk about? Some more stuff?
I'll just run down through my list, and we can put 2 cents in before we finish this thing up. I have listed on here to talk about Pocahontas. That's kind of where you guys went before you bought the cabin, right? And then you kind of went there a couple times after.
My first year hunting, we went to Mineral, and then after that, we went to Pocahontas for 2 or 3 years.
You
Then
said
we
the
bought
bears
that.
are thick down there.
The mountains are huge.
Even bigger than just.
Oh yeah,
just crazy.
yeah.
I have listed to talk about Jack's camp bucks. He's like the only guy that's ever shot bucks in the camp, right? And you said he did it more than once?
He shot 2.
One was out of the porterhouse, wasn't it?
He was sitting right next to the outhouse.
Yeah.
Shot on the other side of the
It's
hill.
not a bad spot. I want to put a stand out there.
I mean,
I want to put a stand around that corner.
they come down.
No Buck Holler. You guys have a spot called No Buck Holler. I don't even know where that's at.
It's actually about kind of where I'm at, isn't it?
No, you know where that gas leak was going up to my old spot?
Your old spot, yeah.
Yeah, to the left up that draw.
Oh,
Okay. So it's like below me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just called it No Buck Holler because nobody ever got anything out of it.
And where was the washing machine?
That is up where Chris hunts now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So is that pile of junk that's in between, like between your spot and the road?
Probably.
There's like
there used to
paint
be an old,
cans.
there used to be an old washer there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone dumped trash years and years ago.
Yep.
Darren always calls them lynx. But they're actually bobcats. I've actually never seen one. I've heard them, and I've got pictures of them, but I've never seen one.
I think there's a picture of one on the cameras from when I just checked them.
We just heard some in Indiana last week, but haven't seen them. We got to talk about...
Well, the bear's eating all our cameras.
Yeah. So the bears have kind of made an explosion. I know you guys used to see some bears back in the day. But
Not a lot.
10 years ago, you did not see a bear there.
now they're all... This is by far the most bears ever on camera. Matt just checked. There's
But
bears.
you got to understand, though, as well, like, before you guys started coming, we didn't run cameras.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
weren't
so you
down there.
wouldn't know.
You weren't down there much in the summer, right?
No, we'd always go during the summer and stuff,
just
but
didn't.
we wouldn't see them like around the camp or anything like that. We might have like heard them, you know,
Yeah.
out in front and stuff like that, and we'd bring the spotlight out. You see some big eyes, like okay, maybe it's a bear. But like we didn't run cameras at all, you know, until
Yeah.
you guys started coming down. And then what are we up to? About 18 cameras
A lot.
or something like
Anytime
that.
a camera like gets
Depends how many
replaced,
are gone.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We, there's always cameras missing that get found, and
Right.
But
But so
any camera we retire from here, we just take down there.
yeah, so we didn't know anything about, you know, we knew there was bear in the area. We just never really saw them. The one year I think Darren was sitting at the beech tree where I used to hunt. He had one come across him. I was doing a drive another time where I pushed another.
I've seen,
I
two.
pushed a few down the hill past my dad and Darren. And that was really, you know, just that was all we really saw.
A couple years ago, we had the Great Bear Encounter where everyone saw them.
Yeah.
There was 6.
Yeah, yeah.
We had 6 bears
Well,
run through.
you 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys
you
all
heard
saw
them, right? Didn't you hear them?
No, I never heard them.
I saw.
Yeah, 'cause
them.
they
Yeah,
came
I
over
saw
the hill
them.
like a freight train.
I filmed them, so we know there were 6.
Yeah,
so I
you filmed them.
them.
They went
I
past
got a video on my
Dad,
phone too.
Yeah.
and then Isaac saw them as well. But once the cameras started going up, I mean, we were, you know, seeing bears all
And
the time.
it's always like June, July, and August.
Oh,
Like, I've
yeah.
noticed once September rolls around, we're not seeing many. So
Yeah,
they
it
get
starts getting cold. They
Yeah.
start going somewhere else.
There is that really cool picture of that big bear walking right in front of the cabin. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably
He's,
my
like, right in
favorite.
front of the steps.
Yeah, that's
That
probably
was
my
a
favorite
huge
deer
bear.
camp picture from down there. Like
Yeah.
everything aside, having the cabin with the big bear in front of it is probably my favorite.
It's during
picture.
the day too, right?
Yeah, it's a daytime picture, which is just
Big
cool.
bear.
I have 2 funny last taboo things to bring up before we close this thing out. Talk about Jim's picture. Because I know he's listening to this podcast. I know he was waiting for us to say something. But
Yeah.
we got Jim's modeling picture on the wall. It's great. It's just a great rendition of a fireman
Yeah.
saving a kitten from
So our buddy Jim Birchfield took some glamour shots.
they were for
a Christmas calendar.
but they were for a good cause.
Yeah, they were
charity.
they were
They're
for
just,
charity.
you know,
They
he
were
just
for a
might
good
be,
cause.
He kind
And,
of might be naked
so-
holding a kid.
Yeah, well, not fully naked, but so Jim's a firefighter, and you know he might have taken a picture on a ladder, you know, holding a kitten, which was an adorable picture.
with his
with no
shirt
shirt.
off.
With no shirt on.
on.
I
So-
think that one's the better of all of the pictures though. The
Oh.
other
Yeah,
pictures are
there's-
definitely
yeah.
a lot like.
Well, there is one where Jim's a part of a sleigh team.
Yeah, he's like a reindeer.
He's the reindeer.
Yeah, he's
also
one of the
shirtless.
deer. Yeah.
It was
So-
for a good cause, if you're listening.
It was.
but
And so
it's also good to have on the wall.
we decided to frame it and bring it down to West Virginia. We never told Jim about it or anything like that. And I think we had it down there and we filmed it one time before
right.
he even came down and just kind of, quick glance
Yeah, just
by
I
it.
made sure it just showed up in a video
Right.
real quick.
And I don't even think he saw it when he watched the
He might not
video.
even know it's down there, does he?
No, he does.
Oh, he does
Yeah,
now?
he does. Because
he comes down in the summertime. And
yeah,
hangs out.
he'll come down when we
Yeah.
do like some summer trips and stuff like that, and he knows it's down there now. But yeah, it was pretty funny. So, but yeah, we have that hanging on. Well, not even hanging. It's pretty much
Yeah, it's on the mantle.
On the mantle.
There's a mantle with a bunch of we keep acquiring stuff that we take down there to like put on display.
Yeah,
A very small shirt that someone modeled once.
I look good in it.
You did
Yeah,
look good in
it
it.
fit
you
you
did
well.
look good in it.
It was
Yeah.
a good medium shirt.
Kids
Yeah.
medium.
yeah.
There's,
I think you can wear mediums now.
Grandpa's clock that we've been trying to throw away for 20 years, which now we can't. Now we just can't throw it away because you had to make a big thing about the clock. So.
I don't.
We took it down.
Yeah, but it's got to stay
Nah.
Why?
because it's Grandpa's clock.
I was kidding.
We'll put it in our room.
There you go. We'll put it
You
in
can
the
have
put
it in
in our
your
room.
room.
Yeah, it's
Or
only
we'll put
right
it-
twice a day.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So
and then make sure we get comfortable when we sit on our benches down there.
yeah,
Oh, my.
yeah, yeah. We have,
Murder benches.
We have
the
some
murder
murder benches.
which
Yeah.
we won't get into that, but
Yeah.
there's we got some famous benches down there. It was interesting.
The neighbors are fun.
but, yeah, the
Yes,
neighbors down
neighbors
there
are
are fun. That's for sure.
All right, anything else before we wrap this up?
Chris survived. He was worried about his first podcast. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I think I did all right.
Yeah,
you
just
did
gotta talk.
fine. Yeah, pretty stiff over there. You gotta loosen up a little bit.
I think he has to pee, and he didn't want to put his hand up and say, "Hey, I got to go to the bathroom."
this is actually one of our longer regular podcasts.
Yeah,
so I
it
mean,
is.
it's-
They go fast.
They do go
They
really
do go fast.
He
All
also
right,
has to
well-
wake up at 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up then. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is Deer Shot Podcast, and we are out.
There you go. There you go. It's all over. Good job, dude.
Almost sound from West Virginia.